In today's tutorial, I'm going to talk to you about pleats. Pleats and thank you. Hi friends, welcome back to So Obvious. I'm Apolinar. Today I want to talk to you guys about certain pleats and what their purpose or how they are used in garments and in sewing. Just FYI, this is part one of 2 videos. I'm going to show you guys 3 types of pleats today. In Wednesday's video, I'm going to show you a couple more. So let's get started with the accordion pleat. The accordion pleat can only be done in a professional setting. It is a type of pleat that is permanently pressed into lightweight fabric. You have to take it to a professional to do it. It is very hard to attain this kind of pleat in a home setting. Accordion pleats are very small, usually no wider than ½ an inch. They are very commonly used in women's tops and skirts. Now let's move on to the basic pleat. The basic pleat is used to control or add fullness and shapes to garments. Like the accordion pleat, basic pleats are commonly used in women's tops and skirts. Basic pleats are very popular for girls' cheerleading outfits and schoolgirl uniforms, like Sailor Moon. There is no set size for the basic pleat. That can be done in almost any size. So before we do any actual pleating, we are going to have to do a little bit of math. We are going to have to figure out the size or the final size of the garment. We are going to figure out how many pleats we are going to use, and we have to figure out the measurement of each pleat. Then once we figure all 3 of these things out, it'll let us know how big of a piece of fabric we need to make this happen. The size of the garment that you are going to pleat really depends on what you're making. So I'm going to pretend that we're making a skirt and that the final size is the waist being, let's say, 24 inches. Now we got to decide how many pleats we want in that measurement. Let's just say we do 12 pleats. Now we got to figure out how long each pleat is going to be. 24 inches divided by 12 means that each pleat is going to be 2 inches. Now that we know each pleat is going to be 2 inches each, we have to multiply that by 3, because each pleat has 3 pieces. We have the part that we can see on top, the part on the bottom that is overlapped, and then we also have the little piece in between. This will make more sense once you actually see the pleats being measured out. So if we take 2 inches and multiply them by 3, that means that each pleat individually will be 6 inches. Now that we need 12 pleats, each one is going to be 6 inches. That means that we are going to need 72 inches. So in order to make a skirt that is 24 inches and has 12 pleats, each one being 2 inches, you are going to need a 72-inch wide piece of fabric. So that is how you figure out how much you need for each pleat. So now here I have a piece of fabric where we are going to actually make some pleats, or I'm going to steam some pleats into it. I'm going to pretend that I need pleats that are 1.5 inches long. So I'm going to set this to 1.5 inches, and I'm going to measure it 3 times. So here's the edge of it. Here's 1. Here's the second part. And here is the third part. So we got 1, 2, 3 sections. Instead of marking it when you're sewing this, I would actually recommend that you do little notches here so that you can see it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this section and overlap it with this section. And here we have the pleat. As you can see, it's kind of like a squished Z shape. It's going to go like this. So then what I would do is pin them right here. I pin them on both sides because you don't want them to move too much. So that's one pleat. Now we're going to measure out another one. Here's the first section here. Here is the second section here. And here is the third section. Now I'm going to do the same thing. This little notch is going to match up with this notch. And then this notch in the middle will be matching up with this notch here in the end. So you match the notches, and there's another pleat. And then you are going to pin them. So now that you got these two pleats pinned, you are going to press them into place. And now that you got them pressed, we are going to go to your sewing machine and sew across this way to hold them in place. And here we have the pleats stitched into place. I did them at 1/2 inch because I'm just doing them to show you guys what it looks like. But usually I would do them at 1/4 inch and then do the actual seam at 1/2 inch. The 1/4 inch would only be there to hold them in place until I do the real seam. And as you can see, the top stays in place while the bottom can open up and give you a little bit more room to move. Depending on the shape or fullness of the garment that you're trying to have, some pleats can get top stitched for part of the way, and it is actually a great way to add texture and sort of a pattern to the fabric. So for the top stitched pleat, you are going to do the exact same steps as you would for a regular pleat, except that when you're at this point now where you've stitched it at the top, you are going to edge stitch it on the open side. Sometimes people do like a fit and flare effect, so they might stitch it from the waist down to the hip, and then once from the hip they leave it open so it actually flares out. And here we have the top stitched pleats. You can see you can pull it, and up until this point it stays the same measurement, and then from here it gives you that extra room to move. So if you wanted a dress that was pretty form-fitting for a certain portion of it and then has this lots of fabric that it can move, that's what you would use a top stitched pleat for. Make sure to come back on Wednesday so we can learn more different types of pleats, plus one of my favorite decorative techniques, the Mexican pleat. It's a pleat made out of real Mexicans. If you like this video, make sure that you share, like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. You can also follow me on my Instagram @apolylook. That way you can keep updated on any upcoming videos or projects that I'm working on. If you didn't like this video, there's really not much I can do about that. Okay, bye.